an amputee and I feel like rambling, so buckle up. Do you ever view the holidays almost as a time capsule to compare not only just where you've been and where you are, but where you'll be? Where will you be next New Year's or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate? What will life be like? It boggles my mind to think of future me. Like, what will future me be up to? I don't know, probably making lame puns. Historically, that does seem probable. It also makes me think about how far I've come and also where I'm at in my life. 10 Christmases ago, I never would have seen myself sitting here with a prosthetic leg talking to a camera pretending like I can see people. You should look at my computer sometime. I've got all these files about like amputated feet and weird stuff like that. Sometimes when I'm editing, I just think to myself, past me would never have guessed this would be the contents of my documents. What will future me be up to? I guess that's the thing that's on my mind today is future me. Because if we're honest, I feel pretty happy right now. Despite all the craziness that's happened and the fact that chronic pain is still very much a part of my life and I'm still disabled and all these things, I feel pretty happy. I feel like life has settled into a routine that I like, and it has a lot of good ingredients that make me feel good. Have I ever shared my analogy with you about ingredients in the pot? I use it a lot in everyday life, so if I haven't told you, here it is. My theory is that life is a lot like cooking. If you put the right ingredients in the pot, you'll get something good out of it. For example, if you get a mixing bowl, toss in some butter, sugar, eggs, and chocolate, I can't tell you if you're making cake, brownies, or cookies, but it'll probably be delicious. Whereas if you had a mixing bowl full of, I don't know, cyanide and arsenic, no amount of chocolate's going to fix that. So something I've tried to be really conscious of is what ingredients I choose to put into my pot. Am I putting in good ingredients that maybe you can't perfectly predict where they will lead, but they're good ingredients and they're likely to lead to a good outcome? Now, I can't control everything, like, case in point, but there are a lot of good ingredients that I can intentionally add into the mix. And at first, it was really hard because post-amputation, I was so exhausted and in pain, and it wasn't a quick recovery. It wasn't like a few months later I felt fine. And granted, I don't know what's typical for the average amputee, if there is such a thing, but for me, it took about 3 years to really get life settled and get into a normal routine. I worked very hard and fought what I would call an uphill battle to get those daily routines established. We're talking little things, like every morning I go outside for 20 minutes and bike, mostly because I have to take my kid to school and we bike. Just getting outside, getting fresh air and a little bit of exercise really kicks off the day in a nice sort of way. And just simple routines about like what I eat and what I do and how I spend my time and not wasting time has made a huge difference. And I know none of these things really relate directly to being an amputee, but it relates to having a good life, and I think we can all agree that regardless of number of limbs, we would like to have a good life. It's definitely preferable. I guess what I'm trying to say is, even last holiday season, I cannot have predicted how much better things got in the course of 12 months. So many small changes were a long time in the works before they really added up and started to make a big difference. And now I'm starting to see the benefit. It's really driven home the point to me that sometimes we need to just keep plugging away, even if in the moment it doesn't feel like it's making a difference. If you know that the basic principle is sound, like eating healthy or exercising or, things like that, then you gotta stick with it if you want the benefit, even if it takes time for that to build up. And I'm just really grateful to past me for sticking with it, because I remember how hard it was and that it wasn't something that I felt like I had the energy for to start doing these things. And every little thing was a battle. I can't even describe how hard it was just to get up in the mornings. For years, I struggled to wake up because the chronic exhaustion was so bad. Now I'm able to get up in the mornings, get my kid ready, and take him to school. Like, that's a miracle for me. Just with how drugged up I used to be and how exhausted I was. I just feel grateful, but I also feel curious. 12 months from now, where will I be? Because I would not have predicted I'd be here. I could act like I'm smart and can see the future and can predict, what future me will be doing. But what will I be doing? I don't know. I just edited out like a minute of me pondering what I would actually be doing, but I don't know. Because I get into a routine, I figure life will always be that way. But, life tends to not hold still. So what will I do with it? How will I direct it? I don't know. Maybe it will move me along instead of me moving it. But enough about me. What about you? What I've learned is that you guys are way more interesting than I am. If you haven't read the comments, read those comments. We've got people in this community who have the best stories and perspectives and jokes better than mine. I need to copycat some of you. But, if you've got a good story, I'd love to hear it. What surprises has life thrown you? Other than, the obvious ones, we're here because we have a thing about chopped off legs and limbs. Positive changes in direction where you never would have seen yourself becoming, an opera star, or what was another thing? A basketball player. Can you tell that I'm just doing this off the cuff? Usually I write things down so I don't forget what I'm trying to say, but today I was just I feel chatty. I don't feel like making a New Year's resolutions video this year because I already did the things I resolved to do. I made more shorts, I got an athletic leg, put it to good use, and I biked a lot. I biked way more than 2,000 miles, so yay, that was fun. I think I just want to keep doing those types of things this upcoming year. I've toyed with the idea of really getting into parafencing and seeing if I could go to nationals or something, but we'll see. I don't know how much of a financial commitment that would take. But wouldn't that be cool? Because, oh my goodness, fencing is so much fun, and parafencing is way more exciting and fast-paced than even stand-up fencing. If you have not tried stabbing people, please just... Actually, I can't recommend that you go stab people, but I can recommend fencing, because if you sign the waiver, it's okay to stab people. I'm such a nerd. You want to hear some irony? Just a few days after filming this video where I talked about everything from wishing I could compete in parafencing but I don't have the money, to not knowing what's around the bend and how impossible it is to predict life, something big happened, something happy. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but it just really goes to prove my point that you never can tell what's going to happen next, and life is impossible to predict. It's full of plot twists. Some of them happy, some of them not so much, but it keeps life interesting, so stay tuned. So perhaps we'll just forego the New Year's resolutions this year and think about the ingredients in the pot. You could try it too. Instead of hyper-fixating on goals, and goals are great, maybe focus on what you're putting into your pot of life. That actually sounds like a terrible analogy, but I'm running with it. What ingredients do you have in there? Are there some bad ones that you maybe need to take out? Some good ones that you could add in? Just food for thought. I don't have anything more to ramble about. I think that's it. I'm just mulling over the ingredients in the pot, where I've been and where I'm going, and just going along for the ride and enjoying life. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And I think that's simply how life is. If we wait around for life to be perfect before we start enjoying it, we may get to the end of it and realize we never were happy, and I don't want that to happen. I'm pretty confident life will never be perfect, but I am confident it can be good. So whatever you've got going on, good luck. We've got a whole new year, fresh slate, and lots of exciting days ahead. Some will be hard, some will be good. But you know what? We can learn from all of them. So hang in there. I'm Stefanina. Thanks for letting me ramble at you. And good luck. Have a great new year, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!